Welcome back to another NFL preview show. As always, joined by fellow fat man and good friend Colton Bartholomew. I'm Logan Wenger. Hi, Bart.
Wang! What's up, bud?
Not much. Today we're talking about the worst division in football, the AFC South. And that, of course, is Joe Barnes, resident Titan fan, coming on to talk about it with us. Hi, Joe.
How's it going?
Appearance number 3, Joe. It's going to just be called Fat Guys and Joe soon.
Yeah, I mean...
I was going to say, dude, I'm on here a lot. So, might as well just make me a host.
Resident guest, but I don't know if you're going to come back after today, because I have a feeling that you are not going to like how we talk about your Titans.
Wow. I'll be back.
All right. So, as we've been doing on these preview shows, we will talk about each team, their acquisitions during the offseason, some of their departures, kind of a general overview of their season and some of the changes that they made, and then guess their record, and then talk about who will make the playoffs from the division. Joe, since it's your division, why don't you decide which team we're going to start with? You want to start with your Titans, or you want to save them for last?
We're going to save them for
last. All right, okay.
Because I think that'll be the one we get most in depth and most argue about. So we'll hold those ones off to the end.
Okay.
Let's start with the Colts, since they didn't do a whole lot this offseason.
All right, starting with the Indianapolis Colts. Last season kind of had a year from hell. The Denver Bronco defense tore or lacerated Andrew Luck's spleen because they're mean and Super Bowl champions.
Kidney. It was a kidney.
Kidney, either way. That sounds worse. I think you need your kidneys.
Well, I don't know. Wasn't it? It was.
That's why I didn't play much.
It was Mike Sims or whatever who got his spleen lacerated and never played again.
Nah,
so
yeah.
At least Luck's
I think that
back
happened
from his
because he
injury.
wasn't very good either.
Hell yeah. I mean, that didn't help.
True, it didn't help either. But, all right, the Colts, Mr. Wang, who do we got for acquisitions? Who did they pick up this year?
Lots of big names. Scott Tolzien tops the list.
Oh, there you go.
They also added Jordan Todman from the Steelers. The only real legit acquisition I have on the list is Patrick Robinson, a quarterback who's bounced around the league a little bit. Last played with the Chargers, but spent time with the Saints. Solid nickel corner.
Yeah.
Can be a number 2 on a bad defense. That's really it. They lost a few people. They lost Matt Hasselbeck to retirement. The big one was Kobe Fleener, is now a member of the Saints. They lost Greg Toller, Dwight Lowry, and the big one they lost is Griff Whalen. Remember that guy who gave us the awful fake field goal thing they did against the Patriots?
Yeah, fake punt. That was a mistake.
I had to put him on there just for that. But Colts didn't do much in the offseason, like Joe said.
Yeah, and I find that amazing because they can't look at that roster and expect Andrew Luck to make it all better. Like, they
just for
with
being
his
healthy.
Injuries and turnovers, he has to work on his turnovers in order to help that team.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we'll get into, just the Luck's play overall. But, I mean, the fact that this is a thing that has been the Colts' MO, God, since they got Peyton Manning. I don't understand it. You have a generational talent at quarterback. Why aren't you going all in? Where are the big free agent signings? Where is the trade? Oh, wait, you did it for Trent Richardson. Oh, my God. It's like...
They signed Frank Gore last year.
Yeah.
Great. A guy at the end of his career.
Andre
Johnson
was actually solid last year, though.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong, Frank Gore is a solid running back, but he's old already. He's already at the end of his career. At least you have a younger quarterback. You should get a younger running back to work with him and actually get some chemistry there over the years. Instead of a Frank Gore that's going to be there for maybe 3 years.
Yeah, and maybe one combined year of being good.
Right?
And
that and Andre Johnson last year didn't make any sense. They got 2 older guys that
their original teams just let go. There's a reason they were available. It wasn't.
They're already at the bottom of the end of their career. So it's like it didn't make sense to me last year, and this year doesn't make sense to me either. They let Cody Fleener leave and then didn't really get anything out of this offseason. The only guy I wrote down,
Dwayne Allen. But
well, true. They didn't need Cody Fleener, but they still could have used him. They should have re-signed him, I think. But the only guy I put down as a key addition was Ryan Kelly, the guy they drafted at 18. The center. Yeah. That's the only guy that I wrote really down as a big acquisition.
Yeah, and that's fair because they did need to bolster the offensive line. But, I mean, this kind of just goes back to their organization is a mess. Their owner is an alcoholic drug addict. And Ryan Grigson and the GM and the coach Chuck Pagano hate each other. And they had, all year last year, it was when is Chuck Pagano getting fired.
I was amazed that Pagano didn't just keep his job, he got a contract.
Yeah, and so did Grigson. They're on the Titanic together, and they just handcuffed to each other.
Didn't make sense.
No, none of this. The entire offseason has not made sense for the Colts.
They can't make any arguments about not having money because they're significantly under the cap at the moment because they gave Andrew Luck that crazy contract, which when you're that good and you're the future of the league at quarterback, you're going to get that type of money. But it's you got to give some people around him, man. What are you doing?
Right.
I
can't just win with a quarterback in this league.
There wasn't really any big-name wide receivers available this year, were there?
Not quite. I mean...
not like a number one, but there were...
They don't need a number one, though. I mean, T.Y. Hilton's the
number
one. Well, yeah,
true. They have T.Y. Hilton, but... there wasn't
they need
a whole lot.
So, here's what I don't understand. So, the Jets signed Forte to a pretty modest contract, in reality. Mm-hmm. The Colts didn't want any of that? A guy that can run, catch, and do everything?
But that's just adding another older, at the end of his career, running back to that running back core. I get where you're coming from, but that's just the same thing they did with Frank Gore last year. Just another old guy that's going to be at the end of his career.
Yeah, my argument would be, though, that Frank Gore didn't have as much left in the tank as Forte did. But you're right, it would be a more veteran move. But that's the thing, at a certain point, you've got to be able to maneuver some guys to your team when you've got Andrew Luck at quarterback.
True.
I know Andrew Luck is still young, but they're wasting a lot of prime years of Andrew Luck right now.
Yep.
And
I agree.
I obviously don't know Andrew Luck, but if they're depending on him to, after this huge contract's up, to be like Peyton Manning type of loyal to them, if they don't put some people around him, why would he be?
You can't stick around if they're not giving you any pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense.
Right now, you got to stick around. You just signed that mega contract, but
obviously.
Well, let's talk a little bit about just how Andrew Luck plays, because it got dissected a little bit before he got hurt last year. As good as he is, he can make all the throws and everything. He's got a little bit of a, I'm just going to throw this up and see what happens in him.
Yeah. He does that, and then he also, if he gets hit, he fumbles a lot. From what I've seen, if he gets sacked, most of the time he'll hold on to the ball, but he holds it weird, and so he fumbles a lot. They're able to pick it out of his hand relatively easily, I think, from what I've seen.
He's really smart, and I think he knows the game of football so well that his mind is always churning, that I think almost holding the ball correctly, if that's the right word, when he's getting sacked, doesn't pop into his mind for whatever reason. So I think he's always trying to dissect routes and where he's trying to go with the ball.
See, I think Wang, you're on that right track, because I think he always feels like he can take the hit and still do something with the ball. I'm going to get hit, but that guy's going to be open if I hold it for just this, millisecond, and I can get it off. But It's that hit actually jarred the ball out. Because I think that's, at the end, his bigger problem. Yes, he's mobile. Yes, he can run for first downs if he needs to, and he can take a hit. We've seen that. But, you've got to start thinking career preservation and look how bad they were without him last year.
And now they're going to be even worse without him.
If he got hurt
Scott
this year.
Tolzien as their backup quarterback now.
I don't know.
Instead of
Scott Tolzien still might be an upgrade over Matt Hasselbeck at the end of his career.
True, but
Matt Hasselbeck wasn't great last year. I watched him play in person, and it was brutal.
well, true, but he was a good backup. Like, not a guy that should have been starting 6 games or whatever he started last year.
Too many games.
Shouldn't have started 7. Yeah, he shouldn't have started.
Yeah,
that
that's not
many
what
games.
Hasselbeck signed up for.
No,
He signed up for just to
mentor.
coach. Yeah. And to maybe play a couple snaps here and there, not to be a full-blown starting quarterback.
For sure.
You know your season's bad when you have Josh Freeman start a game.
Yeah, where you call in emergency backup
clipboard
Josh
Jesus.
Freeman. Oh, man. Defensively, you listed their acquisitions. Nobody. They're trotting out there with
corner.
They've got Vontae Davis at corner, and like you said, they got nickel corner, but otherwise they're all right, but not great. DeQuell Jackson at linebacker, right?
They'll be in the middle of the pack as a defense.
Yeah,
maybe.
Nobody on that defense is scaring you by any means.
Yeah. Who is rushing the passer for the Colts this year?
Do they still have Robert Mathis?
But
I was gonna
fit
say Robert
13th,
Mathis,
14th
but
year
he's
Robert
old.
Mathis?
Right?
And he coming off a suspension year, wasn't it? Like, he got suspended.
He was
for some of
suspended, I
last
think,
year.
the first 4 games for some testosterone bullshit, I'm pretty sure.
PED, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We've talked a lot on these previews, and we'll keep saying it. If you didn't get better in the offseason, you got worse. There's really no staying the same in the NFL. And to me, the Colts are going to take a step back from where they should. Like, I'm saying they're going to have a better record because they'll have Andrew Luck, but they're not going to be where a lot of people think they're going to be this really good team, and I don't think they're going to be that.
Yeah.
The hell of the thing is, we just sat here for a solid 10 minutes and bitched about how the Colts didn't get any better. I still have them winning the division.
Oh, so do I. That's not that.
Well, yeah, because everybody else in the division was really bad last year. So
Yeah.
even if they got a lot better, they're still going to be kind of average.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, they easily still have the best quarterback in the division.
yeah, and
No
Oh, yeah.
other team has a quarterback.
Because no one else has proved anything in that division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into later. But they have the best quarterback, but they just didn't do anything to improve their team. So they're going to be a little bit better, maybe, because they get Luck back, but they're not going to be that much better, I don't think.
yeah. All right, let's jump over to our record predictions here. We'll start with you, Joe. Your division. What do you got the Colts going this year?
I have the Colts going 9-7.
9-7. Okay.
Yep.
Any
They're going to be right around 5.
all right, any big losses
What?
that you got them chalked up for?
Let's see. I could see them losing to the Jags at home.
Okay.
See them losing. Let's see, who else did I see have them losing to? Big losses. Yeah, the Jags at home. Maybe
Well, that game's in London.
maybe the Texans. Oh, that game isn't. Well, yeah, the Jags love playing. in
Yeah, they're
London,
used
so
to it.
clearly they're going to win that game. Yeah, they're clearly going to win that game. Maybe the Titans on the road, but that's because I'm a homer. But yeah, that's
No.
basically they're going to lose a lot of. They're going to lose a lot of close games, is what I think. They're going to win a lot of close games. They're going to lose a lot of close games. I don't think they're going to get blown out by any means, but they're not going to blow anybody out either.
Okay.
That's what I got.
I like
going.
it. Wang, what do you got?
I am a little more optimistic than Joe. I have them going 10-6.
No, okay.
And being the only team making the playoffs from the division.
I'm with you on that, Wang. Actually, I'm going 11-5, but I'm starting to lean more towards 10-6. So right in that 10 or 11 range, going to be the champions of the division. There are just a lot of games I feel like they're primed to lose. I think they're going to sweep the division though, so that's where they're going to bolster their record. I can't see unless they get a trap game down in Jacksonville or at Houston maybe, but that's what I got. So I got the Colts going 11-5, making the playoffs.
Could happen.
It could happen. All right.
Yeah, it could happen. Luck could come out and be MVP, but who knows?
Yeah. All right, Joe, where do you want to go next?
Let's go to the team that did the most in the offseason, and that's the Jags.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
So-
All right.
Go.
Yeah, they
Alright.
they did a whole lot.
They did.
They did a lot.
They
Like, I was looking
added-
it up, and they did a lot.
They added Chris Ivory, Kelvin Beachum, Malik Jackson, Prince Amukamara, and Tashawn Gibson, and then
And that was just all
a whole
defense.
lot.
Oh, no, you said
Yeah,
Ivory,
like, my
but
biggest loss for them was Toby
Yeah.
Gerhart was their biggest
Yeah,
loss.
they lost Toby Gerhart.
Right.
They lost Brian Anger, who was one of the better punters in the league,
Mhm.
but is still just a punter.
Almost lost Denard Robinson to a accidental drowning, but he'll be there.
Yeah. Fell asleep in a pond, apparently.
But I like how aggressive the Jaguars were. Obviously, when you have that many young players and that many guys in rookie deals, you're going to have to overspend in free agency to hit the salary minimum, and they sure did. I mean, they gave Malik Jackson $90 million, but I like how aggressive they were. Their coach knows what he wants on defense, and you can't get all those guys on successive drafts, so he built it through free agency. I like that a lot.
The Jags finally stepped up and did a lot in the offseason. It was finally a lot that made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they had dropped big amounts of money in free agency in the past, and they were head scratchers. But Malik
Right.
Jackson has been good for a few years. Tashawn Gibson is one of the better safeties in the NFL. Prince Amukamara is a former first-round pick that's been solid for the Giants. Chris Ivory gives you a power runner. Kelvin Beacham's a proven left tackle from the Steelers. Every one of their signings makes total sense.
And they had one of probably the best drafts of the entire NFL.
Yeah, which
They got
was incredible.
Jalen Ramsey
to
with the
watch.
5th pick. Jalen Ramsey with the 5th pick and Miles Jacks in the second round. He shouldn't even have been there, and they got him in the second round. It's ridiculous. They got a steal with him. I'm scared that he's on that team. I'm scared for both of them being on that
And
team.
even if
for-
Miles Jack can't play
forever.
right away, I mean, he comes in and he could be a game changer if he can live up to what he can do physically, you know?
True.
And obviously, like I said, their coach, Gus Bradley, is a defensive mind, but the only reason that all these free agents, aside from the money, went to Jacksonville is that there's actually a little bit of faith in what they're doing on offense because of the trio Blake Bortles, Allen Hurns, and Allen Robinson.
They probably have
And
two
if
of
Julius
the best
Thomas could
young
show
wide
up.
receivers.
Yeah, they have two good quality young receivers and a veteran tight end that if he could actually show up and play, he's
Well,
still a good tight end, I think.
I
after
just saw
Julius
today, though,
Thomas's
that Julius
breakout
Thomas
year,
got hurt.
he didn't really seem to have any desire to play. That's the only thing that,
Well, true,
that bothers me.
but maybe now that the Jags might be good, he might actually want
Maybe.
to play.
But
Maybe.
I mean, how do you think that the Jags? Obviously, they got lucky with some picks. Like they liked Bortles enough to pick him a little bit higher than some people would have, and then the two receivers panning out this fast, you don't see it that much. But when you consider the fact of how bad the Jaguars have been, to actually see them have a little bit of momentum going their way and have games where they're in shootouts and they can actually move the ball. It's just a big departure from what we've seen from Jacksonville, ever since like Mark Brunell.
Or Byron Leftwich in his heyday.
Yeah, the Del Rio Leftwich days.
Yeah.
David Garage.
It's crazy to think that the Jags could compete in the AFC South. I mean, they've been a doormat for so many years. And they've just been a defense away. But now they should have a top corner in Ramsey. Jack could end up being something great. Malik Jackson's going to bolster the pass rush. Everything about the Jags seems to be pointing up, I think.
Yep. I for any team to win that division, me be okay with it would be the Jags, just solely because they've been in the same place as the Titans forever, just bottom feeders of that division, and it's good to see them finally actually doing something to improve their team.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I hope that means that they're not, moved to somewhere dumb like London. Because, I mean...
There does not need to be a team in London full-time.
No, there doesn't.
No.
But, I mean, that was a lot
fans
of the
don't
talk.
care about the
Jacksonville
NFL that much.
had the biggest problem selling tickets, and they were always getting blacked out in their local markets. And there was a lot of talk about shipping them off to London to get a European team, but...
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
But potentially with being better this season, or kind of getting in the right direction, they were 5-11 last year. We'll see how they go this year, but they're definitely heading in the right direction talent-wise, and if they can keep this core together and continue bringing in some free agents and drafting well, we could be talking about a team that's right there with the Colts for the next 8-10 years. And I only say the Colts because of Andrew Luck. If Andrew Luck leaves, they're crap too.
Yeah. Well, just look what happened the last time the quarterback left him.
Yep.
This is true. All right, let's strip it over to the record predictions. Joe, what do you got the Jaguars going this year?
I have them going 9-7 and winning the division.
Woo-hoo!
Winning the division.
I love
Winning
Joe's
the division.
pick.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
If they're going 9-7, they got to win a couple of games that, on paper, most people would chalk up for a loss. What do you got for us?
I've got obviously beating the Chargers at San Diego.
Yep.
I have the Chargers actually being kind of decent this year. Got them winning at the Bears.
Okay.
Beating the Raiders at home. The Raiders will probably be good this year. Yeah, probably the Colts at home. I have them beating Colts at home.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. Wang, what do you got?
I thought my pick was trendy. I think the Jags might be the most improved team in the NFL. I have them going 9-7 as well.
Woo!
Just missing the playoffs though.
Wow. All right.
Big turnaround for the Jags.
What's that?
Yeah, they.
Said big
It's a big
turnaround for
turnaround
the
for
Jags.
them.
Oh, yeah. And I think at a certain point, when you've got that positivity going, and I think with the talent that they upgrade on defense, they're going to be able to create more turnovers, and those games that they were close in, but then one mistake offensively kind of cost them, they'll be able to kind of bounce back in. So I've got...
Exactly.
Sorry, Wayne, go.
Well, just being a year older and getting Bortles a year more experience and just playing together more with like the emergence of the Allen and Allen connection. Those two guys pairing with Bortles, with Ivory, with Robinson. I think the offense is going to be insanely improved, and then with the additions they made on defense. I don't see how the Jags aren't the most improved team in the NFL.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I'm actually with you there too. I'm not as high as you guys. I've got them going 7-9 or 8-8. I've got a total toss-up game for them. Where is it? When they host Houston. If they win that game, I think they will be 8-8. They can lose that game and be 7-9, in my opinion. I think that's a very, very evenly matched game, and I didn't even know who to pick it. So
I think we have differing opinions on Houston.
Yep, I think I agree with Wang on that one.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, since you brought it up, let's jump over to Houston then.
Houston obviously had the huge acquisition of Brock Osweiler. I think overpaying immensely for him.
$18 million a year.
They also added solid running back in Lamar Miller and lost Arian Foster, as well as Nate Washington and Jared Crick, as well as Brian Hoyer.
Well,
But I don't think
Heart and
the
soul.
Texans did much to get better.
No, I'm not sold on Brock Osweiler at
Me
all.
neither.
Not a little bit. That defense for the Broncos won them almost all the games last year. I'm not sold on Brock Osweiler. They overpaid him way too much, I think.
yeah, I mean, basically what Brock got was the average salary of like the top 15 quarterbacks. You know, So you're
But I
saying
don't know if
he's
a
top
top
half.
15 quarterback.
I know. Hey, I'm just saying. They paid him like a top half guy without knowing if he was that. They apparently thought
Which
those
they-
6-7 games were enough to justify that.
They had to take the chance too, because you can't keep going with what should be backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick is
True.
finally showing something in New York, but it was Fitzpatrick, it was Hoyer. There's a lot of guys that shouldn't have been starting for them.
Yep. I think they should try to develop a quarterback. They should take one in the draft and try to develop one. Like now it's too late because they got Brock Osweiler's not old. He's like what 26
Yeah.
maybe. He'll be there for a while. He'll have time to develop. But I always thought they should have just taken a quarterback in the draft, have him sit a couple years or maybe 1 or 2 years, try to develop him. Because the last 2 years I thought they were like a quarterback away from being a really good team. Now I don't know about Brock Osweiler. Lamar Miller, I think that's a great upgrade from Arian Foster. He was always injured. I think Lamar Miller is a great upgrade from that.
Yeah, I mean he's a more durable Arian Foster in my opinion. I mean he has a lot of the same skill set, and when Miami would actually give Lamar Miller significant touches in the game, he was a phenomenal stat producer. And it's like there would be games where he would end up with in the high 150s of total yards, and then the next game he'd get like 6 touches. It didn't make any sense.
Yep,
I love that.
I had him.
The guy that had behind him, I can't even remember his name, but
Jay Ajayi.
There it was, Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, I had Lamar Miller on my fantasy team, and I always started him the wrong week. I'd start him the one week that he'd have like 2 fantasy points, sit him the next week because I was mad, and he'd have 47 because he would catch a 50-yard touchdown or whatever. It was ridiculous.
I mean, Bill O'Brien has shown that he wants that dynamic running back, and he'll give that person, a solid amount of touches. So potentially that would ease a little bit of the pressure off of Osweiler. But outside of DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know who else Osweiler's really working with on that side of the ball.
They didn't really do much at receiver. They lost Nate Washington, but he's towards the end of his career, so that's not a huge loss, I don't think. But I think a sleeper pick that they took was Braxton Miller. I really think Braxton might be solid after a couple years of actually learning and developing. He could be a solid 3 receiver, I think.
I mean, there's no question that he's got the athleticism and the speed and change of direction. I mean, that guy with the ball in his hands at Ohio State was money. There was just nothing a lot of those college athletes can do. And you're right, if he can translate that into a full-time receiver role, and he could, you're right, he could definitely be effective in the slot. But expecting that year 1 might be a little soon.
Yeah, no, that's why I said a couple of years, like 2 or 3 years of developing.
Who's at the top of the depth chart for that besides Hopkins? Like Miller might be their number 3 right now.
I think he might be. Because I can't think of any other receiver they have off the top of my head, and that's not good. I should probably know who that is, but I don't. That's either sad for me or sad for them. I'm not quite sure which one it is.
I think it's sad for them. Because if you should have 2 receivers that the casual NFL fan will know off the top of their head immediately.
True.
Will Fuller, anybody?
That's another rookie, isn't it?
Yeah, Cecil Short's the second, I guess.
Oh, okay. I mean, he might be there too, but he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But he might be there
Exactly.
too.
He's a Division III product. Side note.
He was okay with the Jags a couple games.
But still. All right. Defensively, obviously, everything for the Texans begins and ends with J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt can only win you only win you so many games.
And J.J. Watt has me nervous with this back issue.
Totally with you there.
Yeah.
Expecting him to be good until, the second month of the season is a little, too optimistic for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
And who says this doesn't linger?
yeah, he
Look
had
at
like
Tony Romo.
that's
Tony
your
Romo's
back,
had back
man.
issues for forever.
Yep.
And they've got to. This is, I think, the make or break year for Clowney, because you're on your second full year of being opposite J.J. Watt. You've got to stay healthy, A, and then B, you've got to produce, man. I mean, you had all this hype, number one draft pick, and you got the best pass rusher with his hand in the ground on the other side of the line. You've got to make plays.
Yeah, he's not going to get a
going
lot of
one on. Yeah, you're going 1-on-1 every time. You have to beat that guy most of the time.
Yeah.
You got to get to the quarterback so that the teams actually have to worry about you and J.J. Watt, which is what's going to make me nervous if he does actually start producing. Is Titans' offensive line is basically a bunch of schoolgirls out there, so that's not going to be good if he can actually learn how to get to the quarterback.
And over under week 6, Brian Cushing's out for the year.
I'm
going to go under.
I'll give him the over just because I think he's finally off the steroids.
Well, that's going to keep him out longer, man. They got to help him get back.
Yeah, they help him get back, but once you're weaning off of him, don't you get hurt more? Maybe they're all out of his system finally because he's been suspended how many times?
Right. I mean, that is the beautiful thing about the NFL, man. Like, God, the Players Association won't fight for, or won't at least win guaranteed money throughout a whole contract for their players, but they will keep what steroids you took secret as hell.
Good.
Like everybody that's been suspended for a PED. Do you know what it was? Exactly. I mean, like, they fought tooth and nail to not let any drug test violations go public.
And they're really good at it.
Yeah. It is impressive. Secondary-wise, Jonathan Joseph is still back there for the Texans.
He's old, though.
Yeah, he's getting
very
old.
Yeah.
Solid player still, but definitely backstretch of his career. Who else do they got for D-backs?
They don't have a lot.
Kareem Jackson, probably at the other corner. Quentin Dempst is a safety. He's a little bit older too. Not great. That's one of those secondaries that you put out there, knowing you have a pass rush, and hope that they get there.
Yep.
Yeah. That is the
don't.
secondary where you know you have J.J. Watt on that team.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. I can't see the Texans being that great. Just
Nope.
unless Brock Osweiler really is that guy, and we were all wrong. Because I'm with you guys on your assessment of Osweiler. Solid enough, but I don't think he's phenomenal. So jumping over to our records predictions, I'll go first on this one because I'm going to guess I have them a little bit higher maybe than you guys the way you're sounding. I've got them going 6-10 and ending up third in the division. The only
I have them going. Oh.
I said the only games that got them winning are home games against the Titans, the Lions, the Chargers, and I got sleeping the Titans. Excuse me. Their one surprise win will be I've got them at Indy, but
Joe,
I have them going 5-11. So not too much worse than you, but yeah, I have them going 5-11 and losing at least the game on the road to the Titans.
Woo!
I have them splitting with the Titans. Yeah.
All right.
And then what?
Your homerism is awesome, and your optimism for the Titans is great.
I know I don't have that much optimism with the Titans. I just have that much. I don't think the Texans are going to be good.
All right.
I really don't.
All right, I can dig it. Wang, where you got him?
I am with Joe. I have them at 5-11, but I have them as the worst team in the division.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't know anyone in Houston, or else they're going to be pretty mad at us. Because I think it's going to be a long season for them. And I think J.J. Watt's injury is a lot worse than he's letting people know.
Yeah. Nobody's really talking about this J.J. Watt back stuff, but they should be.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the last but not least, Tennessee Titans. Joe, your squad. Tell us what they did.
Yeah. All right. Their key additions. First off, you got to start off with DeMarco Murray. They swapped 4th-round picks for him. Basically, it's a low-risk, high-reward player. He was good. I think the Eagles didn't use him right, but he also could just be a product of a fantastic offensive line in Dallas, which is what the Titans don't have. I think Rashard Matthews is another addition they got. Solid number 2 receiver, I think. They still don't have that number 1 that they need because Dorial Green-Beckham hasn't really shown up yet, but I think he might have a breakout year. Justin Hunter I don't think he's going to play very much. Kendall Wright is a good slot receiver. He's not one to be outside. He's going to be in slot. Harry Douglas was really bad last year. They signed Andre Johnson in the offseason. That's great. But I think the one guy that no one knows about in the receiving corps that you guys probably won't even know his name when I say it, but Tajay Sharp was a guy they drafted, and he has been phenomenal in camps. Like, he's already working with the starters, already basically taking snaps from DGB. Like, he's apparently just lights out there, catching everything that anybody's throwing to him. Some more additions. Ben Jones on that offensive line from the Texans. He's a center. He didn't do very well last year, but hopefully he's an upgrade at center from what they had. And then they drafted Jack Coughlin out of Michigan State. The thing that I don't like about this is he's the 3rd offensive lineman they have taken in the last 4 years in the first round, and their offensive line is still that bad. So I don't like that. But on the opposite side, they didn't lose anything in the offseason. The only guy that's a big name that they lost is Michael Griffin, and they cut him because he's at the end of his career. His stats have been declining throughout the last couple of years. He went to the Vikings. Zach Brown, middle linebacker, he went to the Bills. They didn't try to re-sign him. And then, sadly enough, they got rid of Zach Mettenberger. It makes me sad.
The selfie king himself.
He couldn't win a game when he had to start. He was 0-6 or probably more than that. He was just atrocious when he was out there. So, Met is gone. And then they got John Robinson as a new GM. So I liked that move. The only thing I didn't like about it was I think the management only got him was because he said that he would bring back Mike Mularkey. I'm not sold on Mike Mularkey yet.
All right.
He's really, really, he hasn't shown anything as a head coach. So I'm not sold on him. All right, you guys can probably start.
No. That's where I want to start, actually. Mike Mularkey is a small upgrade from a wet paper bag as a head coach.
He didn't show anything last year when he came in and took over. They won one more game after he took over. I'm sorry, 2 games. They won the first game of the year and then were losing, and then he took over and won 2 games. So they went 3-13 off a year. They went 2-14. So
now,
perfect.
I don't disagree that Ken Wisenhunt was terrible too, but Mike Mularkey is nothing. That's the thing that I don't like. Like they trusted this guy who is like the definition of average to below average, with developing a young quarterback with a young team, and all at the same time trying to get a defensive and offensive line rebuilt. in a short time.
I don't think he has to worry too much about the defense because Dick LeBeau is there as the defensive coordinator.
True.
So I think he's got enough knowledge to make that defense okay. I'm not that I don't think the defense is going to be great. I think they're going to be in the middle of the pack. I'm more worried about the offensive line than I am anything else about that team. Because if the offensive line could actually work, DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, they both that's a huge upgrade from Bishop Sankey and Antonio Andrews they had last year, which I don't think Bishop Sankey's going to be on the team by the start of this year. He'll probably get cut because they have 5-6 running backs on the roster right now. So I don't think he's going to make the team.
Wang, tell me if I'm just being pessimistic, but aren't DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry essentially the same guy?
They are very similar. I would say DeMarco is probably faster than Derrick Henry. And I'm going to say without a shadow of a doubt, he has better teeth than Derrick Henry. Because Derrick Henry's teeth are absolutely disgusting. They're right up there with Bob Ryan teeth for the worst teeth in sports.
Oh, cold-blooded.
You're totally right. They're the same type of player. The Titans need... You know they have Dexter McCluster, who's kind of like the little speedster scat back thing.
He's not. He's going to only return punts and kicks this year.
Yeah, they need some speed in the backfield because they have two big bruisers.
See, that's what they John Robinson wanted. He wants big bruisers that just want to run through people. I don't know. They should have a speedster, but they don't. Dexter McCluster has shown nothing in the backfield for me to even think that he should be in that conversation as a running back. He
was the only person I could think of on the team.
That has speed. Yeah. There's they have David Cobb and that's the other running back. That's who they have, and he's a bigger, kind of just run through people guy. They don't have that speedster.
All right. Well, I don't like that combo entirely. I think Derrick Henry's going to be good, but if you're gonna run with a 2-back system, like they can't be. I feel like you've got to have some type of change, but
you need thunder and lightning. They've got thunder and more thunder.
We'll see though. I mean, the Jets did thunder and more thunder a few years ago with LT and Sean Green. Got to the AFC Championship game. But they had a phenomenal offensive line.
Mark Sanchez as their quarterback.
Yeah, what the fuck do we know, right?
Yeah, sure, and what the fuck do we know? But, all right. Now it's time to hurt Joe's feelings. Actually, I think I'm the only one that's going to hurt his feelings. Let's go to our record predictions. Wang, why don't you start us?
I think they're going to be improved. I really like Marcus Mariota as a quarterback. I think it's going to be great now that they have a run game. But hopefully, Mariota can get more chemistry with the receivers. I don't know about the defense. That could still be up in the air. I think they're going to be improved, though. I think I have a very optimistic 7-9 for the Titans.
Wow.
Ooh. That's better than
I am shocked. Wow. All right. 7
they're
wins.
one of the more up-and-coming teams.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. All right. I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
All right. Now I'm going to cut you down, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got him 2-14.
Oh, boy.
Oh, come on.
Marcus Mariota showed nothing last year that makes me think he's good.
Really?
Nothing?
No,
Not
I'm
even
telling
a
you right
little
now,
bit?
Marcus Mariota is a product of Oregon's system that fit him perfectly. And if you're going to have a running game that is predicated on being under center and letting the running back get 6 yards straight ahead and expecting Marcus Mariota to perform under center, I'm out.
He ran for 87 yards on one play last year. Come on, man. He blew up the. I mean, it was the Buccaneers defense, but he blew
Week
up the,
one,
the
you
Buccaneers
ambushed
defense
another team led by a rookie quarterback.
Well, he didn't do very good against the Titans' shitty defense. So I mean, Titans defense last year was garbage. They had Bleedy Ray Wilson and Cody Sandoval as their two corners. They are terrible. I don't even think they're on the team anymore. Neither one of them. They're awful.
Thus, they're going 2-14.
I think you're wrong.
What are they doing, Joe?
I had them going 6-10. Have them going 6-10, but that's with a couple close losses because they did the same thing last year. If you look at their records last year, they barely lost to the Raiders. They barely lost to the Falcons. Mind you, the Falcons are in that slump period where they couldn't win a game. They barely lost to the Texans. They just barely were losing a lot of their games last year, and they didn't have Mariota for some of the games because the Dolphins hurt him, which is not good because that might mean that he's injury prone and might have a leg problem all the time. But he just needs to learn how to not get hit, mainly because the offensive line doesn't know how to block people. So he needs to try to just sit there and hope that the offensive line can protect him, trust the offensive line, and if you're gonna run, don't take the hit. Just get out of bounds or slide. He's not that. He's bigger, but he's not that big. He's not a Cam Newton big where he can run through people. He needs to just slide. He's kind of like RG3. If he runs too much, he's gonna get hurt, and then he's gonna be bad. So I think that they'll go 6-10. They'll have a bunch of close games where they'll win some, they'll lose some. Maybe the ghost of Rob Baronis can help the kicker Ryan Suckup kick some field goals. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I just feel like somebody in this division's got to be, top of the draft bad. And to me, it's Tennessee.
Well, the Titans will have a top 5 pick because they have the Rams pick. So the Rams got to go really bad because Jeff Fisher is their coach, and he needs to go 5-11 to get to 500 like he needs to. So they're gonna have at least a top 10 pick because of that.
All right. Well, let's recap our picks here, guys. I have the Colts going 11-5, winning the division. Jacksonville an improved 7-9. Texans take a step back, 6-10, and the Titans, unfortunately, another rough year for Tennessee, 2-14.
I had the Colts winning the division at 10-6. Jags coming in a close second at 9-7, much improved. I'm apparently high, thinking the Titans will be much improved as well, going 7-9. And I have the Texans at the bottom of the division, not sold on Brock Osweiler, at 5-11.
And I have the Jags going 9-7 and winning the division. The Colts also going 9-7. The Texans going 5-11 at the bottom of the division, and the Titans going 6-10.
All right.
So
that was your AFC South preview. Mr. Wang, tell the people where they can find us.
Let's get more emails. We don't get nearly enough. fatguysandfriends@gmail.com. Tweet at us. We don't get nearly enough tweets. At fatguys, capital N as in Nancy, friends on the Twitter machine. Like and comment on our stuff on Facebook. We don't get nearly enough. Fat Guys and Friends on Facebook. Like, download, subscribe, share, iTunes stuff. Fat Guys and Friends. Search for it on iTunes.
I love it. All of the audio you're hearing and everything that has to do with the internet is done by Mr. Wang because he loves you and wants you to get the content that you want.
Really, we're just trying to get internet famous.
True.
Help a brother out.
Yeah. Like, share, and subscribe. Internet words. We're out. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.